plans for a Goosebumps movie date back to 1990s. Tim Burton was going to produce one back in the 1990s. Didn't happen. And now, nearly 2 decades later, we have this very sort of FX heavy, poltergeisty romp with the story credit going to Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski, who did the original screenplay, which has subsequently been rewritten, but keeps that central idea. Alexander and Karaszewski wrote Ed Wood and The People versus Larry Flint and one of the Problem Child movies, actually, weirdly enough. And but it keeps the central idea that rather than trying to make a movie around one of the Goosebumps books, wouldn't it be better to have a movie in which there's a character, Jack Black, who is R.L. Stine, who writes all the stories, and somehow all the monsters from all the stories get freed because new neighbor Zach accidentally breaks into the library?
I could have killed you!
That was a terrible throw.
What are you doing here? Go home!
Not until you explain what's going on.
I can't explain it.
We were almost just eaten by Frosty the Snowman, so try!
Okay, look! When I was younger, I created my own friends. Monsters. Demons. To terrorize my neighborhood and all the kids that made fun of me. And they became real to me. And then one day, they actually became real. My monsters literally leapt off the page. As long as the books remain locked, we're safe. But when they open, well, you've just seen what happens.
And what happens is that we get Slappy from Night of the Living Dummy, and we get the abominable Snowman of Pasadena, and we get the gnomes from Night of the Living. What are they called? It is Night of the Living Gnomes, isn't it? What is it called? The gnomes one, Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. And essentially, what happens is that the monsters are set free and they chase around Delaware until such time as people can, pull together and find some way of dealing with them. Now, the thing about the film is that because it's been an on-off project for such a long time, it was possible that what would happen was you'd end up with something which was a bit of a bodge. And although it is slightly scrappy around the edges, it's a great pleasure to report that it's enjoyable. It's it's already proved itself to be a sort of a family favourite as far as the American audiences are concerned. Jack Black's weird intonation when he said you heard in that thing, which he's doing that Jack Black voice. You can't.
It's very funny. I instinctively find that voice funny.
Exactly. I instinctively find Jack Black funny. Although it's strangely enough, in a way, he sort of downplays it slightly. He doesn't, when he goes full Jack Black, sometimes he can be a little bit too much. Well, this time he doesn't. He kind of reins it in. And the story is that, as I said, Zach moves into the neighborhood. He meets this girl next door whose father doesn't want her to have any contact with the outside world. And then all the monsters get unleashed. And then they have to, using their teenage skills, they have to, right the wrongs. Meanwhile, we have huge monsters and Gribblies and everything running around doing all manner of stuff around Delaware. And there's a sequence when there's a deserted fairground which is out in the wood with a great big Ferris wheel that they climb up on, and it's rather charming. And there are moments in it that creepy. I mean, there's something for me about talking dummies which I just find inherently creepy, which I say the poltergeisty thing, ventriloquist dummies.
Yeah, all
ventriloquist dummies are on some level basically a bit creepy,
demonic.
Yeah, and Slappy is definitely demonic.
Certainly if you saw Magic at an early age.
Yeah, and Dead of Night, and Magic was. Do you remember seeing Magic?
I do remember seeing Magic.
It's really creepy, isn't it?
Super creepy.
So it has all these monsters, it had all this action. It is rather scrappy, and it kind of gets a little bit too big for its own good. But it's enjoyable, and it's a PG-rated movie that I think will, anyone who's a monster fan will find there enough carnivalesque mayhem to keep them very happily distracted. And in an age in which so many kids' movies are a disappointment, it's nice to be able to say, actually, no, this is fun.